Alrighty, hello, good morning. This is a very quickly starting match, but we are here for the grand finals of Hippo Cup the 8th. It is that time. One of the craziest grand finals matchups I think I've ever seen in this tournament. It is a 21st seeded Dadunai against, top 3 seed Battle of HK. So two teams at very opposite ends of the spectrum seeding-wise, but hey, they were in the same group. They played a tiebreaker match in group stage. They played again in winners final. Battle of HK won again. And so now they're playing for the third time, and this time it's for all the marbles. The underdog of all time in the grand finals trying to make something pretty crazy happen that I don't think we've ever seen happen before. I'm very excited for this one. Dadunai looked insane yesterday, winning on tiebreaker against Worldwide Choppers. So we'll see if they can recapture some of that magic here today. I'm 212. Joining me for this one is iFlame. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. These two teams, as you said, have played before. Last time we saw them face off, it was 8-4 in favor of Battle of HK, and that was just last week in the finals. Of course, Dad and I did play the pool yesterday against Worldwide Choppers, went all the way to tiebreaker, so plenty of additional information for Battle of HK, but we're kind of getting into this one right away. No time to waste. We've already got some picks and bans. Dad and I are going to ban out the No Mod 6, and Battle of HK, they ban out the Hard Rock 4 chicken soup. This is criminal.
I'm very, very sad about that, actually. What's interesting about the instant No Mod 6 ban from Dadunai here was that it was actually banned against them yesterday. Worldwide Choppers banned that out in the losers final, so that's going to be 100% ban rate here, which is a little disappointing if you are a Flashback Log fan, but I don't think most people really want to play that map, so it's like fine. Free Mod 4 second ban is a map that Dadunai played yesterday. I believe they lost it. Worldwide Choppers picked it and won it thanks to, I want to say it was Jackpacks kind of going crazy on one of the aim sections, but I feel like the strat here for Dadunai is probably going to be like just pick tapping stuff again, because I feel like that's been kind of their thing. Just say Gladofox, go do tapping stuff. See if that happens.
Yeah, we've seen them look good on a lot of the aim packs as well. They had some solid scores on precision, specifically looking at that, what was it, the CS7 map, the CS10 map that had solid scores on as well, that No Mod 8. So they have some options, I think, outside of purely tapping. I think on some of the tapping maps, they were just kind of relying on Gladofox to carry, which did actually work out pretty well for them yesterday, but far from a guarantee. In terms of their previous bans, right, they banned out DT5 and No Mod 2 yesterday, so they're now going to be leaving at least one of those open, and I think there's a good chance we see Battle of HK pick into that, but as a whole, I think we're going to see Battle of HK likely picking into these alt aim control picks, a style that has favored them pretty heavily throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I think, a huge advantage here in this particular match for Battle of HK is, as you mentioned, Dadunai has like so much information out there from playing, literally 15 maps yesterday. Best of 15 going all the way to tiebreaker means that you're showing what you're capable of on practically the entire pool. Even with a pool this big, there were only 6 maps not picked or banned. So there's a lot of info out there for Battle of HK to learn from going into this match. So we'll see what kind of strategy they can base on that. It's going to be Free Mod 2 final ban for Battle of HK. So that is a wave goodbye to R176, which was not picked or banned yesterday. It was untouched, one of those few maps that was untouched yesterday, but I guess Battle of HK must not like it. I wouldn't necessarily see that as like a required ban against Dadunai, but they're going to go ahead and get rid of it anyway. So that's Hard Rock 4, Free Mod 4 as the bans for Battle of HK, No Mod 6, Free Mod 4 as the bans for Dadunai, and first pick is going to be Battle of HK to get this started, and as I said, it's a big pool. There's a lot of options, a lot of places you could start in this match.
Yeah, there's quite a few options in the No Mod pool especially. I think there's a good amount of alt. You're looking at No Mod 1, No Mod 3 as really good options. You could even look towards something like the Hard Rock 4, although generally the Hard Rock has been okay for both teams, not necessarily a strong preference for either one. I do think you want to avoid the DT pool at least early on against this Dadunai roster. And then even looking at the free mod pool, and actually that free mod 4 is banned out. So my first picks would kind of be those no mods 1 and 3. I think the no mod 5 and even the no mod 7 to a certain extent could be decent picks for them, but remains to be seen. Even they could look towards Hard Rock 2. No shortage of options, really. And it's going to be Free Mod 3 instead. So they're going to go for the 270 BPM raw speed map. This is not necessarily the pick I expected for Battle of HK.
No, not for me either. And this is, I don't know, this has felt like a skill set. Well, this is a little higher BPM, I guess, than some of the stuff that Dadunai has done well on. I mean, you look at, you know, some of the scores they're setting yesterday on things like the DT2. That's only 255. Or, you know, like last week, you know, the DT1 was 270, but that's an aim map. You had not really a ton of happening last week's play. I guess you go back to like semis and you get stuff that's, you know, 250 for the DT2, 230, 225 for the DT3. So this is a little bit faster, I think, than a lot of the maps that Dadunai has looked really good on in the tapping skill set. So Battle of HK saying that they're just pure high-end BPM speed is going to be better. And this gives them access to not a whole lot if it goes well for them, but I mean, you know, as far as like information goes, obviously there'd be like what, DT4 I guess out of this, and not a whole lot else. But you know, it can get you a good comfy win if you are super strong on a map like this, which they have a hella strong like stamina tapping roster.
Yeah, you could potentially look towards something like a DT2 at that point. I think we're going to want to keep an eye out on Fox. Has been kind of the speed player that's been popping off for Dadunai. I think the rest of their roster has struggled a little bit more. And we did actually see, I believe, in their match yesterday, them play more than 4 players in the match. They had, what, 6 or 7 different players?
I think it was 6, yeah.
Good to see, yeah.
One of them only played one map, though, I will note. I forget offhand. I think it was maybe Survivor.
Yes, it was Survivor.
And that was always going to be the question in this tournament. As it goes on, how long can you survive with this few members actively on your roster? It's been a lot of Z numbers, Crystal, David, Kurumi, Fox, and not a lot else. And whether or not that will continue to be successful into Grands is the question. It worked for them yesterday. Oh my god, my Discord's doing this thing. I have to change this setting. But we shall see as we get into map number 1 here.
Yes, we shall. This map is incredibly dense in terms of how much combo is available. It means it is incredibly solo carryable. I'd say these speed patterns are relatively comfortable if you can tap a 270 BPM, very big if, and so one player can absolutely make the difference here. We see early misses from both sides, but the early advantage is going to go to Battle of HK. So starting off strong on their own pick, because it's currently 2 FCs to 2 of Battle of HK with the better support, although one of those big combos do drop off. Now traded back by Fox. There goes David, though. That's a big one. Now it's 1 FC trying to fend off Maxim and Sharitori. Battle of HK starting to run away with this one. It's a full reset for Dadunai. Maxim, the only one in the lobby still holding. Battle of HK now up by 7 million points.
Yeah, this is looking pretty over, and like you said, it's the type of map where if you have one person who's comfortable, it's solo carryable, and that's exactly what Maxim is doing. The artist formerly known as Ice Shark. We love mid-tournament name changes, so we don't know who's playing, but it is Ice Shark, which is kind of unsurprising. See him being the one having success on a map like this. A very, very strong tapping player, and showing that off. Well, showing that off easily here, it would appear. This is as we said, like, this is just a good first pick if you have a player for it, and he is currently on pace for a possible 1v4 here.
Yeah, Battle of HK looking strong on the pick so far, and may give them a chance to pick speed in the future. So there's still a fair bit of speed left open in the pool, but Maxim absolutely popping off right now, having no problem whatsoever with this stream. It's the only player still holding the FC, and everybody else in the lobby, aside from Fox, is struggling quite a bit. And at this point, the combo from Maxim is high enough that even if they find the miss, Fox can't really catch up. It's just the damage has been done, and it's going to be currently 1v4. Maxim does finally miss. They're not going to be closing out the 1v4, but not going to be far off.
I just realized that for some reason Dadunai had 2 points, and I don't know why. Whoopsie. Yeah, this is just a really, really good score. I mean, it's 2v4 with him and any of the teammates. Not a lot to be said. This is just one player being comfortable, and the other team, you know, Fox is actually going to put up the second best score in the lobby. He is on a massive combo. The accuracy a little lower than Ice Shark, but that is, you know, maybe the small saving grace for Dadunai is that they did have at least one player who was capable of playing the map. So, you know, other tapping picks that aren't quite so out there as this one is might still be, you know, accessible to them. But this particular map was just one-man carry, 28 million and 1-0 Battle of HK early lead on, well, a pretty binary skill set.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a map like the Nomad 2 yesterday where, sorry, not the Nomad 2, the GT2 yesterday where Fox put up 30 million points, was a big proponent in winning that point for Dadunai to bring themselves a tiebreaker. And so I think Dadunai, despite that loss, aren't going to necessarily shy away from some of the tapping picks if they come up later, but they do still have their options. They could opt into the GT, which would generally look good for them. I think they could opt into some of these fast aim picks that they have put up some good scores on, or I don't think we'll see precision this early on, but maybe something they'll keep an eye on as a later stage pick.
Yeah, I mean, there is Nomad 8, CS10. That is out there. Hard Rock Foregone, of course, the other super precision 7.8, but I don't think that one ever feels super great for anyone. I don't hate the idea of maybe just picking Fremod 5 here, honestly. Oh my god, I'm a genius. So Fremod 5 is an interesting one because yesterday they picked this, and like Fox actually just became like LeBron James or Faker or Jesus or, you know, whatever. He put up a 2.9 million with nobody else in the lobby being within a million score. Just an absolutely insane combo performance on this map, because this is not a map that you're ever going to have good ack on, but it is a map that you can maybe throw together a little bit of combo. There were C's and D's across the board on this yesterday, and they're putting their eggs in the Fox basket again, I think, and I understand that completely because that dude is gaming. So I like this as a first pick for them. Just say, hey, Fox, go do that thing you did yesterday again here today.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a gamble, though. Never know whether you're going to be able to match that same combo in the second match. All it takes is one unlucky break at the wrong time, and all of a sudden, you're only getting, you know, 1 million points, not matching your previous score, and so it is going to put a lot of pressure on the Fox here. Battle of HK have quite a few players that, well, I shouldn't say that can put up a good score on this, because I don't think anybody can put up a good score on this. The map is way too hard, but some players maybe that have a chance to at least keep up with Fox.
Which, I gotta say, is not a player I, coming into this tournament, would have said that's who people need to keep up with on Dadunai. No, but as it turns out, that's who people need to keep up with on Dadunai. Yeah, we'll see what he can do here today, though. I'm very interested because this was their second pick of the match yesterday, first pick today, so clearly something that they feel pretty confident in their ability on. See if they can repeat that score from the first match this weekend with, I think it's going to be the same roster: Fox, Crystal, Z Numbers, and David. And it's going to be Misha, Awa, Schwartz, Ethan Tricks, and Maxim again for Battle of HK. See how this goes. Get a, you know, couple early good picks from both teams. I think, you know, get some comfort in both. Make sure both teams feel good. And get confident, you know, and comfortable in the match.
Yeah, this one is going to feel a significantly less solo carryable, so the supporting combos from either side are going to matter a fair bit. It's not just going to be down to one big combo on either side. And as you can see, this map, it's a lot of very rough linear patterns, some pretty fast bursts, and a whole lot of finger control, which is why you're going to tend to see some incredibly low accuracies, especially on your hidden players. Those speed tests are absolutely brutal, as David has found quite a few misses already. Most other players off to a good start, but we're yet to get into the real tricky part of the map. The accuracies are still above 90, which means we've got about negative 15% accuracy to go, but the next miss is going to be followed up by another Dadunai player. See numbers, and now 4 FCs to 2, Battle of HK. Looking to get a potential breakpoint here. It is going to be 4 misses, but 3 of them are on Dadunai. Ludofox, the only one holding. This is the player we expected, but Battle of HK currently matching and more. Thantrix does find the miss now. It's Misha up against Ludofox with only half of the map to go. Can Battle of HK hold on to this lead, or can Ludofox bring this one back for Dadunai?
Yeah, it's just a 1v1. If Misha Awa keeps holding, Battle of HK will be fine, but it's Misha Awa versus Ludofox, which is a scary, scary matchup, both on crazy combos, both on crazy scores. And here we go into this next nuts tapping section, but with Crystal Z numbers falling, David falls as well. There goes Misha Awa, okay, and Ludofox falls immediately after no chance to bring it back. And that's just going to be the map right there. And Battle of HK going to get the break point to start things off. The scores were actually kind of cracked, not gonna lie. Almost 5 million from Misha Awa, 4.6 million from Ludofox, but just the better team support for Battle of HK overall, and a little bit better from Misha Awa compared to Ludofox, and that's all it takes. And that's like worst case scenario. Ludofox literally improved their score by like 2 million from yesterday, and they still lost this time because it was matched by Misha Awa.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Adonai. Did they improve their team score? I
Yeah.
believe they did, yeah. Yeah, and it just wasn't enough. So off to a bit of a rough start here. And I mean, there is another 2009 map in the pool if you really want to keep it going, and it is Precision as well. So maybe they do still want to pick that, but in the meantime, Battle of HK have a chance to consolidate this breakpoint, and each team has only had one pick, so Battle of HK feels like they have no shortage of options left open here. And really, until there's none left in the pool, I'm gonna keep looking towards any of these aim control picks, and in this pool, there are a lot of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's obviously as well like going to be some tapping stuff in addition, because starting off with that comfy free mod 3 win, and into free mod 5 win. Yeah, so they're just going to go DT3. So rather than the aim control, Battle HK is going to say we want our first pick on a pure speed map. We want our second pick on a tap and control map. Let's just keep picking stuff that requires a high degree of tapping, and this is one such pick. It's 255 BPM breakcore, just awkward bursty stuff. This was, I want to say, was a hard rock pick in USC like 2 or 3 years ago, and here we are with it in a DT pool, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's a very heavy pick on the finger control, but this one is interesting because Battle of HK are essentially saying, we can beat Ludofox, who has been putting up massive scores on any tapping focus pick all weekend, and we saw them be able to do that on their previous pick in the free mod 3, and so we'll see if they're able to do it again here. I imagine you're going to keep an eye on Maxim, who was the one to put up the big carry score on their last speed pick, and I have a feeling we might see a 1v1. This is another one of those maps that have incredibly, incredibly high solo card potential because there is just so much available combo in this map. And once you start getting up to that 1.5 plus K combo mark, your score just absolutely skyrockets if you can hold on. And there's Ludofox, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I think as usual for Dadunai, you're going to see a lot of the same players, and this map is going to be one that Ludofox is going to be required to go pretty crazy on. One of the few picks that Crystal isn't in for, makes Ludofox even more important to the team than he already would be. This map has very few DT plays, I will note. This is not a friendly DT map. It's literally, Window Life has rank 2 on it. And Rectigon has rank 4 on it, and other than that, there's just not other like top tier DT scores. So you've got to be like at just absolute peak tapping to be able to perform well on this. And well, I think your assessment that we might have another kind of 1v1 on our hands could well prove to be accurate. We'll see what these players can do. Misha Awa, of course, coming off that really good performance on the free mod 5. Ice Shark coming off the really good performance on the free mod 3. And Ludofox being Ludofox. Going to be the players, I think, to watch out for.
Yeah, Survivor in for this one as well. We'll see if anybody aside from those two can keep up. As I must say, this pool as a whole, not designed to be playable, which does make for some very entertaining matches. And it makes for a whole lot of misses, as we already see 3 players dropping on the side of Dadunai. But this map is long enough that those aren't going to matter, as long as we do see some good recoveries, because most of those misses have been traded back by Battle of HK. But misses from Ludofox, slightly concerning. Maxim and Hippo are both on FCs, both looking pretty comfortable on the map, whereas Ludofox, not the comfort you'd hope to see, down at 82% accuracy, and has some recovery combo, but just not enough to match these big combos on Battle of HK.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to be defeatist or anything here, but we're a quarter of the way in and this map feels already kind of over. You have double FCs on Ice Shark and Ahio, you have a big recovery combo on Misha Awa, and meanwhile you have practically nothing to speak of on Dadunai. Z numbers in Ludofox, I guess, are finally starting to build up a little bit. As I say that, Z numbers immediately breaks. But this lead is already 13 million. And, like, that's so not comebackable without a gigantic combo somewhere. Finally, Ahio breaks the FC, but it's a full lobby reset, basically. The only player left holding is Shari Tori on any combo to speak of at all. And Battle of HK is doubling Dadunai's score. That's just that.
Yeah, and Battle of HK seem to have multiple players now on this one that are comfortable enough to keep up. It's not the 270, it is slightly faster, and that's going to be low enough BPM to allow all 3 of Misha, Maxim, and Hio to put up pretty solid scores on it. I mean, even Shari Tori is beating 2 of Dadunai's players, and so they just don't have a chance at keeping up. And for Dadunai, this skill set that has worked for you all tournament long is kind of unpickable in this match potentially, because there is another 255 BPM speed map, and I mean, Ludofox did look a lot better on that one, to be fair, but if you have 3 players that can play it at a relatively high level, then it's not going to matter so much.
No, and you know, as you say that, just looking around the lobby, like, Ludofox is the only player on Dadunai who's beating a single score on Battle of HK, and even then, it's not by a gigantic margin over Shari Tori. And Ludofox was like the hero of this team on these maps over the course of the tournament. So, if that's the situation you're in on an early pick like this from the other team, you're in dire straits on the skill set for sure. Now, this pool is huge. There's a lot of other things that'll be available, but this was just one-way traffic here for Battle of HK on this map, with really, really strong performances from especially Ahio, but Misha Awa, Maxim, and Shari Tori really all pulling their weight on the map, whereas Dadunai, I mean, they were gonna, on a pool like this, is not surprising to get 4th playered, but I mean, they didn't even have a second player over, well, they didn't have a second player over 6 million, right? And that's just a rough spot to be in. It's a D rank 1.6 million from Survivor, clearly not a player who is comfortable with the map, and the rest of the team just not having a great time either. And boy, this is a little worrisome of a start here if you are a Dadunai or a Dadunai fan, or somebody who is hoping for a close competitive match, because those were 3 pretty one-sided affairs, and it is gonna require Dadunai to put in a lot of work going forward, it feels like, to bring this match back, because it already is feeling like Battle of HK is just leveraging their deeper roster in this matchup, even in the very, very early stages, 3 maps into a best of 15. And Dadunai, this is already like the break glass in case of emergency pick of Hard Rock 1. Like, they're already opting into this.
Yeah, I mean, I do really like the pick, to be fair. I think they have looked good on aim in the Hard Rock especially. This is one of the maps they did play yesterday, and they won it by 26,000. It was a little scary, but it was really a team effort. This map, for those of you who don't know, is a 232 BPM fast A map. This map is chock full of brutal cross-screen jumps, and so you're going to expect to see some pretty low scores. I think the top score on this map yesterday was 770k. Feels like we're playing Score V2, but believe it or not the case, as you're just going to see a lot of low combos on this one, and that means this one is going to be very much about the team score. It is near impossible to solo carry a map like this, but Dadunai have shown that they can consistently put up these 600, 700k scores, and I think they're going to look to do the same here today.
Yeah, I mean, this is essentially a combo win-con map. Like, it's just who can get 100 combo on the map, because, as you said, absolutely brutal aim. This is the type of map that Grand Senpai thinks is good, and that tells you all you need to know about it. It's really not a great experience unless you are, you know, a, like, 2-digit or above aim player. You're just probably not going to have a great time.
Yeah, probably not. And I mean, you mentioned the 100 combo. I think Crystal was the only player yesterday to get above 100 combo. So if you can by some miracle put up 150 combo, you're probably well on your way to winning the pick for your team. Generally, 70 combo on the pick is quite good. If you can get above 100, you're doing really well. And if you reach 150, there's a good chance that you're just winning it. As we do see a fair roster change up for Battle of HK at least. Of course, Dad and I have a limited roster changes. That's going to be largely the same. We do see XC1 in for the first time this match. And Battle of HK, of course, going with their more aim-focused roster. Listia Schiazzo in for the first time this match. Here we go. Can Dad and I find themselves a point here on this Hard Rock 1 on the raw aim? Or will they fall down 4-0 early on to Battle of HK? We'll find out shortly, as this map takes no time to get into it. We're going to see lots of misses, and we're very quickly going to see who ends out on top. In about 15 seconds, I'd say I'll get an idea of who's a little bit more comfortable on the map, and I think it's going to be pretty even at least until the halfway mark, because it's just so hard to get any combo advantage on either side here.
Yeah, Crystal had like a 70 combo, and that actually got Dadunai a little bit of a lead. If that says anything. The best miscount yesterday, for the record, was 30. So looking to beat 30 miscount, looking to beat 121 peak combo. Just keep those numbers in mind as we watch Ahio almost get there. He was at 113, and that gave Battle of HK a small advantage. We'll see how long they can hold on to that. It's just, you know, it's red X's and red names just all over the screen nonstop because, like we said, nobody can really play this all that competently. But got Crystal building up a little bit. He's got 80-90 combo, and I feel weird saying that, but that's big. That brought the gap down a little bit, but it's still just ever so slightly favorite Battle HK because it's really hard to get enough score to bring back a lead at all.
It is. I mean, 50,000 point lead is actually a decent margin on a map like this for Battle HK, but it's far from comfortable, right? It's so easy to chain miss an entire aim pattern. All of a sudden, your score lead has vanished, and it's continued misses from both sides. Crystal, the only one able to build up combo, and there it goes. This one is 30,000 points, so Dad and I are slowly bringing it back, and there's a quarter of the map to go. This last quarter of the map is even harder than the rest, so we're going to see even more misses. Dad and I managed to flip the score back over, but they're not out of the woods just yet. They need to hold on to their combos as much as possible, try and get as few misses as they can, and it looks like Dadunai may be able to hold on, but it's only 20,000 points. Any chain miss in the ending could change things. Battle of HK just not able to build up any combos, and I think Dadunai would be able to, it's going to flip over and try to favor Battle of HK. This is going to flip back and forth. It's going to be right up until the end. Who hits the ending patterns? Oh. Battle of HK, 6,000 points. Score V1, and that's going to be Dadunai down by 4, and that's pretty rough. I don't think that's one you could really afford to lose.
Oh my god, that is 6,846 points, man. I mean, that's just, that's a dagger to the heart. That's painful to see. And like literally on that map, like you were saying, you know, it's just the smallest margins the entire way through. The tiniest margins consistently, whether it's 5-10 more combo here and there, that's all it takes. And that little bit of ending combo, it wasn't even, I mean, it's probably like 10, 15 combo, right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's enough. And I mean, just looking, everything is close about this. When a map is decided by 6,000 points, everything is close. There's nothing really separating teams by all that much. Lost in the shuffle there, I did not see. Shari Tori did get 127 combo at one
New
point.
top combo
so
on the map.
We do have a combo lead on the pick. Man, that is just painful for Dadunai, dude. Like, that is really, really rough.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that you're going to be thinking about for the rest of the match, quite possibly. And the thing is, Battle of HK, right? They haven't even touched aim control yet. They haven't touched ult. They still have the DT2 if they want it, right? That other 255 BPM stamina pick after they look so good on the DT3. And they're going to go with no mod 8 instead, so they're opting into precision. That is a bit of a surprise, but I'm pretty sure this is a map that Dad and I did play, so they know what they're getting themselves into, and evidently they feel like they're ready to go on this CS, what is it, CS10
CS10.
precision pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a CS10 normal difficulty. Quote unquote normal. You know what normal difficulty means when it's like graveyarded map, it's never actually a reasonable sort of pick. But yeah, Dad and I did play this yesterday, putting up a grand total of 1,189,000 points. I'll just put it that way. You're just not going to see great scores on this. That was a crystal carry. Again, max combo win con here. 138 the target for this match. That was Crystal's combo yesterday, highest in the lobby. So we'll again be looking at that particular scoreline as something to beat, because that can win you the map. Yesterday it was 143k that Dad and I won this by over Worldwide Choppers. So it's another map that is super, super contested because so few people are going to be able to put up much combo really at any point throughout this map. I mean, your peak combos for 6 out of the 8 players yesterday didn't hit 100 because it's CS10 and nobody who plays CS10. What is CS10?
Nobody at all. You're gonna need a magnifying glass for that one. I think the scary part about this pick for Dadunai is that if you lose this one, it is Battle HK's pick. You don't have a lot of options in terms of skill sets. I mean, you're losing tapping, ult, aim control doesn't seem great, at least on paper. Now you're potentially losing the precision as well. There's not a ton of raw aim in the pool, right? There's the free mod 3, which is maybe slightly more comfortable in terms of an aim map, but after that, most of the aim in the pool is pretty heavy on ult or pretty heavy on aim control. And so Dad and I, if they can't find a breakpoint back here, they're very quickly running out of potential picks. So we'll see if they can pull something off. We've got Maxim Listia, Wowie, and Schwartz in for Battle of HK up against the same roster as we just saw. Crystal, David, Lido, Fox, and XC1 trying to finally put a point on the board for Dad and I. Let's see if they can do so here, as we've got a minute and 31 seconds only, but this map, you really want to get your combo advantage in the start, because the last quarter of this map has a CS10 stream section, which is absolutely brutal and probably not super hittable, at least compared to the rest of the map. So if you can find yourself a good score lead through the first 3 quarters of the map, you're in a really good spot.
And look who it is. It's Lido Fox on the combo here in the early goings. Has the FC still intact while everyone else in the lobby has broken. And that will be a couple 100,000 point lead for Dadunai right off the bat. And like you said, you have to get your combo in the first half, 2/3 of this pick, because you're not going to be comboing the ending. So unless Battle of HK has something pretty crazy up their sleeves, Dadunai has basically won this just with that Lido Fox combo, although it is a break. So I don't know. I just don't think there's enough score in the ending to bring back 400k, unfortunately. I don't know that that's really feasible. I think Dadunai has actually already won the map, just because of Lido Fox holding 200 combo.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. I mean, there is theoretically enough combo, but the ending is just not hittable in any way, as we see every single player in the lobby struggling. Lido Fox on 40 combo is pretty good on that section. Dad and I, they do finally get one back. Maybe they finally got some direction. They can look for aim, they can look for precision, because we do still have both of those in the pool, right? You've got the free mod 1, which is a more consistency aim-focused pick. You do have that, well, that DT5 is no longer an option, which is unfortunate for them, and that Hard Rock 4 actually. So
Hard
quite a
Rock 4
few of the
was
precision maps that
was
have gone.
banned, yeah.
And yeah,
So you have no Hard Rock 4. There is DT5.
well, there is DT5. That
Yeah,
could be a good pick for
yeah.
them then.
I don't know if that's a good pick just because you won this. Can we just talk about
No.
the fact that Ladofox got 200 combo on that map? Like that's
very
actually incredible. Like you don't. I mean, I think people like watching Hippo Cup are like hardcore enough to understand how insane that is. But like the average player won't realize just how nuts 200 combo on that map is. But that's actually ridiculous. So, well done to Ladofox, who. I think, yeah, it's a 565k, better than any score from yesterday by 200,000, better than any other score today by 200,000. So, shout out to Ladofox. But yeah, I think to your point, I don't think you can take much away from this map because, like, what compares to CS10, you know? Like, there just isn't another map that is like, hey, we picked this now because we won that. We won the CS10 map, guys. We're good to go the rest of the way. We've got our picks set now. Like, there just isn't that ability. But they are on the board, and that's what really matters. They got a point up, and they can start to, you know, maybe try to build a little confidence and momentum at the very least. It just won't be anything like this map because there isn't anything like this map.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I feel like obviously, like you say, there's no direct comparison. Like the DT5, it is still precision, and at this point, you're down by 3. You do get a breakpoint back, so you're only down by 1 breakpoint, but the Battle of HK's picks have not been going particularly well. They've been pretty one-sided. Otherwise, the maps have been relatively close, and so you're maybe going to have to reach a bit to find those transferable skill sets from whatever map you do find a point on. But we've got Hard Rock 5. This is going to be Slider Tech Hard Rock in the first half. The second half of this map is very much alt tech. I mean, I don't know if I'd even call the second half alt tech. It's kind of just a straight up alt section, but very much tech alt test. I do like the pick for Dadunai. I think they've looked good on Hard Rocks throughout the tournament. Mind you, Battle of HK have put up some good Hard Rock scores themselves, and I think, especially looking back to the finals, when Battle of HK did put up good scores on Hard Rock maps, it tended to be on some of the more alt-focused Hard Rock maps. I mean, last week it was looking back to, what was it, the Hard Rock 3, and this is this week's kind of alt/tech-focused Hard Rock map, and something that Battle of HK could look good on, but I do still generally like the pick for Dadunai. It doesn't feel like they necessarily have any amazing picks that I feel super confident about.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes, right? You get down like that early 4-0, and especially when there's, you know, several different skill sets involved. It's kind of like what happened last night with USA versus South Korea in 3WC. You get down early, and you get down early on multiple skill sets, and it's like, oh god, where do we go now? Because you just don't have options. If you lose a tech pick, you lose a speed pick, you lose an aim pick, you lose a reading pick. It's like, well, now what? like, shoot, dude, we've got nothing left. So yeah, Dadunai put it in kind of an awkward position, to be sure, picking their way through this match. You know, did win Hard Rock 1 against Battle of HK last week, as mentioned. Did lose Hard Rock 2, which was an alt Hard Rock. So, you know, a couple of Hard Rock picks going one each way in the last match between these two teams. So we'll see who emerges in some more Hard Rock here. Obviously, the Hard Rock 1 this week going the way of Battle of HK. So maybe Dadunai can flip the script back the other way and go 1-1 on Hard Rocks this week like they did last week. But it's a tough task, I think, no matter what. Battle of HK, a lot of good, you know, kind of the control-type players. You've got Ethan, Trix, Listia, Maxim, and Ahio coming in this time. XZ1 going to stay in. We've seen more XZ1 this match than most any match previously, alongside Ladofox, David, and Crystal. You know, not like a must-win necessarily, but definitely would help a lot if you can kind of consolidate one of the breakpoints back.
Yeah, it is your own pick, so it's getting to the point where every pick is starting to feel like a bit of a must-win. Of course, it is best of 15, right? So you have a bit of extra wiggle room, but at some point you're going to have to start winning your own picks and getting some points back on the board, as Early on here, Dadunai do find themselves with an early lead, but we haven't seen too many major breaks yet, as XC1 is going to find the first major break, but that's going to be traded back by Listia. Maxim does find the miss as well, as does Athantrix. Now it's just a Hio holding for Battle of HK, trying to fend off 3 big combos on the side of Dadunai. This pick looking good so far, but we've made it through Slider Tech. We'll see if the tides turn into this really heavy alt section.
Well, it's going to be breaks from 3 of the 4 members of Dadunai. Fortunately for them, it's a full reset for Battle of HK, and it's time for Crystal to just go nuts, it seems, as the only member of either team able to hold through this middle portion of the map. Very impressive combo that he is holding on to still. And this lead is starting to look pretty comfy for Dadunai by 3 million. There is the reset, but it's a reset all over the place, right? There's just no combo to speak of in the lobby anywhere, and that is going to work to the favor of Dadunai. Up by nearly 3 million and with no combo on the board means that they should have this point pretty much locked down, and this is a really good sign for them that they're not, you know, down and out in this match, that this might be recoverable from that early 4-0 deficit, because this is going to be them getting their second point on the board and their first pick of their own on the board. So they'll feel a little bit better. They breathe just a little bit more to avoid now being, you know, get one of those breakpoints down and, or get one of those breakpoints back, and in pretty comfortable fashion. This is a great score from Crystal and a great team score to win it.
Yeah, I mean, just a ridiculously good score from Crystal. That is not one anybody on Battle of HK is going to be able to match, or anybody else in this tournament, realistically. And with a score like that, you can pretty much show the career, right? Crystal only 1 million points behind the entirety of Battle of HK, and this is not the kind of map that should be solo carryable, but both the players on both teams are incredibly talented, and sometimes they put up these crazy scores and manage to pull out solo carries on maps where it should not be possible. With that said, Battle of HK do have the next pick. They're going to look to stop the Dadunai momentum in its tracks, as they still feels like they have a lot of options. Of course, they have, well, we've already talked about the Nomad 8 doesn't have really much that's transferable, and so really you're still looking back to that alt-aim control, you're still looking back to that speed. DT2 would be interesting because, well, yes, they have won the tapping so far. We know Ladofox has put up 30 million on that, so essentially if you're going to pick DT2, you kind of have to guarantee that somebody on your team can match that 30 million from Ladofox, which can be really scary, right? It's one thing to put up that kind of a score in practice. To be comfortable enough to do that in match is a whole other piece, but it does feel like they still have a lot of good options here as Wooly jumps into the lobby. Maybe that means we're going to see some aim control, or maybe it means Wooly's just hanging out for the pick. Who knows?
Yeah, we haven't really seen a whole lot of...
No,
a whole ton
quite
of
surprising.
Wowie. I mean, he was in for the Nomad 8, but not the most frequent lobby visitor in general. But they are going to go into that DC2, so they do evidently believe that they have adequate score to beat whatever Ladofox might be capable of. David as well, right, had a really good score on this yesterday. Yeah. So you've got a 30 mil and a 22 mil in the book already from Dadunai. They opened their account on this map in style yesterday. You do know Dadunai is going to be fourth playered on this based on yesterday. Survivor put up a 2.7 mil, lowest in the lobby by a huge margin. Came in today for the one map that he has been on so far. Dropped again the worst score in the lobby by a vast margin on the DT. We saw him on DT3. So if you're Battle of HK, right, you have kind of two goals in mind here. You have to have somebody who can stand up to Ladofox and to David, which you've got Ice Shark, you've got Misha Awa, you've got Shari Tori, like you've definitely got that. And you also probably want to make sure you have a fourth player who can put up at least a few million score. And I think they're capable, based on what we've seen in this match so far, of definitely doing that. But as you said, you know, doing it in practice is one thing. Doing it in a match is another. Ladofox has already proven he can do it in a match. David has already proven he can do it in a match. Will Battle of HK be able to say the same in a few minutes' time when this is over is going to be the question.
Yeah, certainly is the question. And this, yes, similar BPM to DT3, but this one way more stamina intensive. It is just kind of a raw stream map almost, and this is 4 minutes in length. It is incredibly long. The patterns themselves are incredibly comfortable compared to pretty much any other map in this pool. This is one of the more playable maps, assuming that you can tap 255 BPM, which, to be fair, not all that many players can do, but if you can do 255 BPM, the patterns themselves relatively easy to aim, relatively easy to follow, and so as we saw with good scores from David and Fox yesterday, this is the kind of map that you do expect to see significantly higher combos on, and it means that we could see some pretty big score advantages one way or the other. It also means single player could make the difference, but again, if you have two players that can put up insane scores on this map, you're going to put yourselves in a really good spot. Here we go. This one going to be 4 minutes of 255 BPM streams. We'll see if anyone can keep up with David and Fox on this one, as we'll get a quick refresh while David loads in. And here we go.
Here we go, indeed. Watching Ice Shark here, watching Sharitori, watching Misha. Oh, I mean, all three of those players, and Ahio even. Like, it feels like Battle of HK, the depth of that roster, right, can really show itself in a match like this, on maps like this. Whereas Dadunai, well, they're switching a player out, so it isn't going to be Survivor this time. We'll see how much that helps. It is the early slider break from Z Numbers, followed by Crystal. So again, David and Fox, the ones left to carry the flag for Dadunai. Battle HK, still 3 FCs intact as David falls, as does Fox. Oh dear. You can't afford too many early breaks. You can't afford too many breaks in general when you have a tapping roster as strong as what Battle HK has shown us so far today. This gets scary fast with how big the combos are on this map, so watch out for Ice Shark, watch out for Sharitori, see what kind of gap they can create between the teams here with already an early 4 million score lead.
Z Numbers thankfully does have a recovery, but David finds yet another miss, not going to be able to match that score from yesterday, at least for the time being. Maxim does trade it back, as does Sharitori, and now Z Numbers has a chance to bring this one back, is going to be able to build up this combo as it's a full reset from Battle of HK, but does find the miss. That's going to slow things down a little bit, and now David has 4 million points to make up. There's plenty of time to bring this one back, but right now, Dadunai are just not holding on to their combos long enough to capitalize on these misses from Battle of HK, and Battle of HK are going to be sitting pretty comfortable with this 4 million point lead. That said, we've still got a ton of map to go. There's still probably 1,000+ combo left in this map, so we can still see some wild point swings.
Yeah, a lot of time to build up combo for literally everyone in the lobby here. Just gotta stay comfortable as best you can with this type of mapping. Not always the easiest as your stamina starts to drain, but for now it's pretty even. It's trades between Crystal, Maxim, and Ahio. You've got big combos on Misha Awa and Sharitori though, and there's a triple break from Dadunai again. Only Fox able to hold. Who else? But unfortunately for Dadunai, he's being matched. Sharitori has a better combo by 100. Battle of HK has a better score by 11 million. And still a third of the map to go, but it's just been an answer from Battle of HK to everything that Dadunai tries. They always have seemed to have a combo somewhere on their picks. You know, it just feels like the tapping roster depth is proving more and more valuable as time goes on. And now it's just everybody with combo for Battle of HK except for Maxim, and that lead is going to be pretty comfortable, 14 million.
Yeah, as long as Fox does hold on to this combo, Dadunai still have a chance, but to make up 12 million at this point, Fox is going to have to combo through the entire rest of the map, and that is a devastating break. There goes Crystal and Z Numbers as well. David holding, but 600 combo is not nearly going to be enough. Sharitori finally finds the miss, but the support is there on Misha, on Ahio, and with Dadunai only holding one big combo, 12 million points, I mean, actually even more. It's 28 million points is just million. Way too much to make up, or 18 million maybe. we're doing our best out here.
Yeah, it's not, that is unfortunately just not going to be comebackable in this stage of the map, and Misha Awa going to look to bring it home for Battle of HK. 1100 combo into this ending, patterning, some tricky flow and kick sliders, but just getting through it with aplomb. And what a performance again from Battle of HK, just looking super, super solid. Did lose a couple of points, but they're right back on track here with this one. Into the ending, Misha Awa continuing to hold. Wow. finally breaks on that last little pattern, but brought nearly over a 1400 combo into the end. And it's going to be a near 30 million score victory for Battle of HK. And that's how you get back on track in a match right there. Drop the Nomad 8, drop the Hard Rock 5, say, we don't care. We're going to go back into tapping. We've already won a couple tapping picks. Let's do it again. And boy, did they ever.
Yeah, not a single player under 10 million points is an incredible team score for them. At the very least, maybe some solace for Dadunai is that there isn't really any tapping left in the pool. They've kind of picked through all of the tapping options, so they will have to switch it up going forward. But having gotten themselves a 3-point lead out of the tapping picks, I think they're going to be pretty happy with that, and pretty happy with what they managed to accomplish on those while they were available. And they still have quite a few options left open that they've won on Dadunai. Need to find the next pick, and it's at this point in the match where you're down by so much that you need to make every single pick count. You can't really afford to give up any more break points, and on top of that, at some point, you have to start winning your opponent's picks, right? So Dadunai, gonna have to consider this one carefully. It's gonna be a no mod 5 pick. We are getting imprinting. Now, this map is going to be your anti-mod in the no-mod category. It's going to be a tag 4 map, and it's going to be pretty heavy on the aim rating. This one, of course, is going to be quite tricky with the hidden, so extra pressure on the no-mod players to put up good scores on this one.
And this is a wild map to pick for Dadunai, because not only did they have this picked against them yesterday, they lost this pick when it was picked against them yesterday. So turning around and picking it themselves feels really crazy to me. That is a very interesting swing on a type of map that doesn't feel like it's necessarily advantaged them in this matchup, but I guess what is advantaged them in this matchup? Not very much. I am not sure I follow the reasoning here, unless they just improved a lot by this overnight. Barring that, this is a little bit of it feels like just kind of a little bit of a dart throw to me.
Yeah, I mean, could be the case, right? Could be. We don't know what to pick. Nothing in this pool at this point feels great. Let's try the No Mod 5 and hope for the best. With that said, you're picking a rating map into Battle of HK, who have players like Schwartz and Listia. They have, I mean, if there was ever a Wowie map, this would be the one. So if we don't see Wowie here, we might just not see Wowie this match. Instead, we're going to get Schiazzo and Thantrix as well. And this is a really terrifying reading roster, especially on a tag 4 map. I mean, this is like Schwartz bread and butter, it feels like.
Yeah, the reading and like the kind of awkward aim and stuff in this one is... It feels really good for the Battle of HK roster we're seeing on the screen right there. It is going to be the same roster as yesterday for Dadunai on this. So you've got Crystal Z Numbers, Ladofox, and David. Gonna need an improvement from David. Was the bottom score in the lobby by a pretty fair margin yesterday. So gonna look to bring that one up. And then, you know, Crystal do Crystal things and hope for the best. This is not really a Ladofox map in the way that some of the other picks that they've had a chance in have been. And I don't know. I think Dadunai just kind of throwing caution to the wind a little bit here because they're not in a super great spot in this match. So it sort of starts to be a little bit uncertain very quickly as we, I think, fail to load in. I think we have failed to load in.
That's exciting. I believe the players are playing the map currently.
That's odd. No, they're not.
Oh no, they're still in lobby. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is going to be this is I think going to be an abort and restart because I think the map didn't load for whatever reason.
Could be.
Ooh, somebody wasn't loading it before I panicked. Was it Crystal? Yeah, this just needs an abort and restart. Where is our?
Yeah.
And hopefully that will fix it. Because it would not be an OSU tournament match if there wasn't at least one map that had some sort of issue, right? Like going, 15 for 15 or whatever the case may be would be kind of ridiculous. So let's see if we can't run this back.
Yeah. It is fascinating that we've come so far in terms of skill that maps that were intended to be played by 4 people can now be played by a single person to a reasonably good level. I mean, we're not expecting any SCs on this, but you know, people have gotten up to 300 combo, and it is cool to see the evolution of player skill over the years. And we'll get Scatso loading. We might actually get to see Wowie.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see.
Oh, don't tell me Ski is. Oh, are we gonna have to deal with? I forgot about this. I forgot about this.
Out of the lobby.
Can we not have to deal with this again, please? That dude needs to get his internet fixed. That dude needs to get his internet fixed.
Yeah,
looks like
it's
just gonna be Wowie.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Making his second appearance in this match, I believe. Played No Mod 8, and I think that was it. So.
Yeah.
The long-awaited return of team captain Wowie for Battle of HK. We'll see how it plays out on this pick from Dadunai here.
On the hidden as well for Wowie. This is the kind of map that is tough if you weren't supposed to be in for it on the hidden, but we'll see if it pays off, as David is really struggling on this one. Like, entirely missed both of those bursts. He's down at 60% accuracy. Hopefully we see some recovery, but ultimately, if you have 3 players that are gone on the map, the 4th combo doesn't necessarily matter, but based on previous performances, Dadunai don't necessarily have 3 players that can put up crazy scores on the map. Meanwhile, the rest of the lobby doing all right. It's a small advantage for Battle of HK. Schwartz and Athantrix putting up really good scores. Athantrix on the hidden as well. Really impressive. Wowie not far behind, actually, and his pick so far not looking good for Dadunai. It's a full reset for Battle of HK minus Athantrix, the only one holding, fending off Crystal, Fox, and Z numbers, who are on small recoveries. And as I say it, they both find misses. Now it's C numbers trying to do it alone, and Battle of HK are just going to extend this score lead farther and farther. Half of the map to go. Dadunai have a mountain to climb.
Can I just say Listia hit the little thing before that short break there? That like bonkers like wiggle aim pattern. Listia the only player in the lobby to hit it. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it's Battle of HK just out to a lead again, and it feels like nearly any lead that they put together in this matchup has been virtually insurmountable instantly, because they just always have an answering combo, and Dadunai struggling a lot on many of these picks, and this is really no exception. Again, you know, you have a player struggling really badly, and your top score isn't matching the other team's top scores, and well, the reading roster for Battle of HK was every bit as strong as we thought it might be, it appears here, as they're going to win this pretty comfortably. It's going to be a 2 million or more score victory, with Listia and Athantrix leading the way. Schwartz and Wowie doing what they can to support the team, and Dadunai just were really never in that map, unfortunately. 3 players under 1 million. Crystal doing what he could, but just not going to be nearly enough, and that is now 6 points to the good for Battle of HK. They get the breakpoint back for a second breakpoint advantage again, and they are 2 points away now from the finish line.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of see the idea behind the pick, right? Like 6 million is not a crazy team score, but it feels like today is just not Dadunai's day. They got 1 million score worse than that one yesterday. They got a significantly worse score on the GT2, so does feel like they have low rolled quite a few maps on this one. Mind you, Battle of HK beat their score from yesterday as well, so not sure would have made the difference, but feels like today not necessarily their day. It is tough mentally as well, right? Being down by this much, and Battle of HK only need 2 more points to win themselves Hippo Cup 8. They have the next pick, and they have lots of options. We saw the reading look good for them. There is more kind of anti-mod in the pool if they wanted to go for, well, no, free mod 2 is banned out, so that is actually not an option. And so they don't have anything like super similar to what we just saw, but I do still think something like the No Mod 3 would look quite good for them.
Yeah, No Mod 3 could be an option. No Mod 4 could be an option.
Yeah, what do you think of the Hard Rock 2 ever? That would be interesting.
Yeah, more alt hard rock. That
yeah,
they won that skill set last week when these two played, right? It was the Hard Rock 2 last week was a similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely plenty of options available, but it's gonna be No Mod 1. We're gonna go Revolutionary Etude as the pick here for Battle of HK. Could be their last pick of this entire tournament if they win this and then get a break point to close the match out. So this is putting putting a pin in the match, perhaps, with little Chopin.
Yeah, this map I think needs no introduction. It is brutally hard, especially end of the map. So, as with other maps that have absolutely unhittable endings, make sure you get your combo advantage early, because even a small deficit is going to be nearly insurmountable once you get to that last quarter of the map. And yeah, we're going to see a lot of low scores on this one. Top score last time around this was played, 2.1 million from Jackpacks. And I mean, Dadunai found themselves with 4.6 million. Battle HK are very aware of that, and so they feel quite confident that they can beat the 4.6 million team score. And honestly, this is the kind of map where you can't like full solo carry, but if you can get like up to that 400, 350 combo mark, you're going to be matching at least 2 players on the other team. That's likely going to be enough to find your team the victory. So I think that 350, 400 combo mark generally going to be the breakpoint we're looking out for on this one. Otherwise, it will come down to that team battle. We saw Dadunai be a little bit 4th playered on this one yesterday. The numbers did struggle a little bit and is in the lobby again. So hopefully we can see some improvement from the rest of the lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, they got to start seeing improvement from the rest of the lineup sooner rather than later. As you mentioned, it feels like Dadunai has kind of suffered from a bit of a low roll syndrome today in a way that they were able to avoid yesterday, where they high rolled a lot of stuff. Or I guess it depends on how you look at it. Did they high roll stuff yesterday? Are they low rolling stuff today? Or did they average stuff yesterday and they're low rolling? It's like, but they definitely need to see some improvement from what we've been getting out of them so far in this matchup regardless. And needs to happen ASAP. They don't want to get Jackpaxed again. Yesterday, he put up a 2.1 million team score to help Worldwide Choppers win that map by 400k. And we'll see if something like that maybe happens here again, because well, that aim control looks pretty good for certain members of Worldwide Choppers. We'll see if Battle of HK can do the same, or if, again, it's just going to be a lot of misses all over the place and nobody able to build early. We'll give them time to settle in, though, and maybe, just maybe, somebody can do something heroic in this match.
Yeah, the start of this map, incredibly tricky. It is through the middle that we have seen some players be able to build up slightly bigger combos, and generally they've been able to approach that 200, 250 combo mark at most. And so, yeah, that full reset from Dadunai is devastating, because they're not going to have a lot of chance to rebuild this combo. And Battle of HK should be able to hold this up until the last aim section comes up, and they are going to be approaching that 300 combo mark. They might even get to 350, and Dadunai are just so far out of it. The ending is, I mean, you cannot come back on the ending. It is way, way too hard. Battle of HK have now doubled the Dadunai score here, and we're about to see the ending, and why you can't come back on the ending, as we're going to see a sea of red on the screen, as nobody's going to be hitting any of these patterns. I think it's safe to say Battle of HK are taking this one in a very decisive fashion.
Yeah, you come upon the Red Sea and you do not have a Moses on your side. Unfortunately, you are just going to sink and drown below the waters. And that is what Dadunai have succumbed to here against Battle of HK on this pick. That was never going to be comebackable, and indeed, Battle of HK got the lead. They held the lead by a pretty massive margin, and now this match all but over, it feels, with a 7-2 lead. Battle of HK match points, tournament points the rest of the way through, and have looked unstoppable this entire match thus far. It's more than just a mountain to climb for Dadunai at this point. It feels a virtual impossibility, unfortunately, for them to make any sort of comeback in this match.
Yeah, and it's, yet again, a pretty significantly worse score than we saw out of them yesterday on the No Mod one. It feels like they're feeling pretty down and out of it at this point. It's going to take quite the miracle, like you said, big mountain to climb for them to make a comeback here. In theory, it's not impossible, but Battle of HK have been the dominant force here in this match, and they are one map away from closing this one out. They might not even need the next pick, as Dadunai are going to opt into the DT5, and so we're going to get CS7, and it's another 2009 map. So I mean, you kind of know what to expect from 2009 maps. Lots of weird linear patterns that are incredibly awkward to play.
Yeah, I low-key just kind of didn't expect this map to get played. But it's Shotgun Symphony. Like, everybody's probably at least peripherally aware of this map by this point. I want to say there was a 2v2 tournament Sport Clover hosted, Sport Cup, back in like 2018, where this was virtually impossible as a no mod pick in grand finals. And now we're in a rank restricted tournament 6-7 years later with this being picked in the DT pool. I mean, you mentioned earlier how far player skill has come. And while this is not the most playable of maps in this pool, the fact that it's even like that it's not the most complained about map in this particular set of picks says something about how far we've come in the time in between. That being said, this is still not a map where you're going to be expecting too many great scores, I dare say. But, Battle of HK, they've got good old map players. They've got good reading players. They've got pretty good precision players. Dadunai won the small circle size we saw earlier. You talked about this being a possible pick for them after they won No Mod 8, as it is the next smallest circle size map available for them. So they're going to opt into it, and we're going to see what happens. But I think what's going to happen is a lot of what you've seen so far. A lot of misses, a lot of resets, a lot of breaks, and players really struggling to build anything up.
Yeah, that's going to be the trend in this match. I mean, there is enough time to build up some combo. When I say some combo, I mean you can find yourself a couple hundred if you're playing well. And those are going to be the kind of advantages that players are looking for. So far, nobody quite able to reach that mark. We're seeing the max combo, I think, was 70. And so neither team going to be moving the needle much at all. And until we do see some of those higher combos approaching a couple hundred, we're not going to see this score gap move much one way or the other. There's still 3/4 of the map to go. This map is decently long, and so we do see Dadunai finding more misses on this slider section so far. Listia, the first player to reach that 100 combo mark, and has built up the first bit of advantage for Battle of HK. They're now up by 100,000 points. It doesn't seem like a lot on Score V1, but on a map like this, 100,000 points is solid. Listia builds up to 200 before finding the miss. Advantrix makes it to 150 as well. So saw a huge advantage now for Battle of HK. 200,000 points in T1G. This might very well be the end for Dadunai.
Yeah, the fat lady warming up her proverbial vocal cords here in this one as we reach the halfway mark with that couple 100,000 point lead for Battle of HK. It's so hard, as you said, to try to bring anything back on a map like this that's so difficult to combo. You have Crystal holding about 100, though. If he can keep this going, he can bring it back over by himself, especially with those breaks from Battle of HK. And look how close it's gotten. He's got to keep going is the thing. He has to keep this up because not a lot of support and instantly breaks. But the lead did go over as it goes back, but it did go over for a second. It's proof of concept, iFlame. It's proof of concept that Dadunai can come back in this one. But it's tricky. It's difficult. It's very, very hard to do. And oh God, please, Bancho, don't. I really hope nobody disconnected. Please tell me no one disconnected.
Let's hope for the best.
No.
I mean, look.
Oh no.
Oh, Listia crashed.
Listia crashed.
And that is 3/4 of the way into the map. So
certainly not understandable.
The question is, can Dadunai win it in the 4v3? The score lead is close enough that they should, in theory, be able to bring it back over. But with how easy it is, or how difficult it is to find combo, honestly, the 4v3 is far from a guarantee at this point. We'll see this one play out, and Battle of HK hold on to the lead for now, but that full reset is an edge for Dadunai because they have the extra player. Score lead does flip back over, and I think Dadunai should be taking this one, barring any theatrics from Battle of HK. It is going to be incredibly close, 3,000 points, but the score lead is growing with that missing player from Battle of HK, and it looks like Dadunai do manage to extend this one one map longer, not the symphonic end that they were quite looking for on that one.
Yeah, this is looking like a really unfortunate way for this map to go. As, just having an extra player with any amount of score that they can give your team when the scores are this low is a big value, as it turns out. every 10, 15, 20,000 points matters, and ends up being Dadunai taking it. That is a darned shame for Battle of HK, just that we were kind of deprived of what may have been an incredibly close map back and forth through that last section, but it's another Dadunai point on the board. It is their second point that they've won on their own pick of the match, and it brings it to 7-3 under kind of unfortunate circumstances, but such is life. Battle of HK still have a couple more picks to try to close out the match, so, you know, not going to be end of days for them. Dadunai make this a little bit more respectable of a scoreline, at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, they have at least 4 more chances to close this one out, right? I think, hopefully, at the very least, it's not going to have a huge impact on the outcome of this match. But I guess we'll have to wait and see whether or not that's the case. And yeah, let's play isn't updated. That's not going to matter as Battle of HK did lose the point anyways. So but I think they do have the next pick. And it feels like they still have quite a few pick options.
Yeah, I think for Battle of HK, like, you can go DT4 here, you can go DT1 here for fun. As you were talking about before, you know, you could go like a Nomad 3 here or something. Just, again, like, plenty of options left for maps that I don't think they're going to feel too bad about. 4 more match points before a tiebreaker. Like, they don't have to be 100% perfect. You can pick a little bit for the vibes here if you want to. If you're feeling, you know, comfy in the match where you are.
Certainly could. You know, we could see a DT6. That would be not necessarily a good pick, but it would be fun if you're going for a vibes pick. That said, I'm sure they're just going to want to close this one out, especially after a disconnect. So I imagine they're just going to go for their best option and not risk throwing in the grand finals. That would be quite a tragedy.
Yeah. Is this even throwable? Do you think it's throwable? Should they?
I mean,
should they
theoretically,
should they throw for content?
They could. Depends how. Oh, Nomad too.
Man, of all the maps they could have picked, like, you picked just the most, like, frankly boring one. I'm sorry. Like, oh boy, a 4.5 minute long 212 BPM Nomad 2 that 2 people in the world can play. I get it, because, like, you are picking your best map and you're picking something that you feel confident in winning, but, like, come on, man, this is so boring.
Like, it's hard to complain about a team picking their best map, especially when it was pooled. So, you know, hard to fault them for that one. Should have put up like the preemptive ban. You know, in the grand finals announcement, pools out. Also, Nomad 2, kind of boring, so you guys aren't allowed to pick it.
Can I have a commentator ban? Can we have one commentator ban per match? New tournament concept. This map is long and boring. We don't want to see it, so it's banned.
There you go. I use my one commentator ban to ban out your commentator ban, so that I don't have to think about commentator bans.
Man, what is this? Freaking, we're doing some treasure hunter shit here.
You're so
My
right.
power-up is commentator ban.
Aha.
Your team receives a bonus 3rd ban in the match, but you don't actually get to pick what it is, and the commentators are not obligated to pick something that they think is a good ban for your team.
There you go. Just spin the wheel. You know, throw a dart at the wall, and whatever it lands on, it's an extra ban.
Yeah, I don't know. Shari Tori got like top 5 on this map on the leaderboard yesterday, so
Yeah.
you know, it's probably pretty good for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much to say about the map either. It's like stream consistency map, pretty standard. I mean, it is pretty aim control heavy for Nomad 2. 112 BPM, but yeah, it's pretty standard for Nomad 2 pick, something that I think Battle of HK should be comfortable on. But you know, there is always Lido Fox. Can never count out Dadunai as long as Lido Fox is in the lobby, but this is another one of those maps, very solo carryable, and one of the more comfortable maps to play in the pool. So we're gonna expect to see a few higher combos on this one, and so far that's favored Battle of HK, as they've consistently been able to find at least a few players that can put up those big combos, whereas Dadunai frequently have only been relying on one, maybe two players. We'll see if those one or two players can make the difference here, or if Battle of HK can close this one out on their second attempt.
I mean, this is Ledo Foxable.
Yeah.
Legoat Fox carries these.
Ledo Goatable.
He FCs for like 800 PP or whatever this is worth. Surely. First FC on the mat, live in Hippo Cup Grand Finals. Who's keen?
Why not?
Who's keen?
I would love to see it.
This is more than 800 actually. This is actually 1,000 PP for a hidden SS.
Oh. I mean, yeah, an FC on this would definitely be a tournament PP record, but already, we only have 3 players left that have a chance of that, and I mean, it's not going to happen. There's going to be plenty of more misses coming out, but already those 3 combos make that 2 combos are both on the side of Battle of HK, so even though it's early, any advantage you can find is going to be nice, and usually you see a pretty small advantage this early on. They're already doubling the score of Dadunai, up by 3 million points, and 3 million is not a lot on this map, but it could potentially be a sign of what's to come as the map only gets harder from here on out.
Yeah, so back in the day, we had this common phrase in commentary before the rule changes over time occurred, which was barring a fail. Back before failed scores count, back before we ran no fail on everybody, we would say barring a fail. And we're a quarter of the way through, and this kind of low-key already feels like barring a disconnect. Battle of HK might just have this in the bag. You've got a double FC still alive on Ahio and Sharitori. You've got solid recovery combos on Misha Awa and Schwartz. And the combo's just not even close to touching those from Dadunai other than Z numbers on the recovery. It is a break from Sharitori, so it does kind of open it up a little bit, but there goes David, there goes Crystal, and this just became really difficult to try to come back on.
Yeah, David missed the entire stream. I mean, the combos do drop off from Battle of HK, but unfortunately they've mostly dropped off from Dadunai as well. But
Legoat Fox?
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Legoat Fox.
There is combo on Legoat Fox. There is hope. This is an incredibly difficult map, but if anybody could do it, it would be Ledo Fox. Is slowly bringing this one back. I mean, Ledo can absolutely make up 10. Okay, there it is. Could have made up 10 million points solo, but would have needed to combo the rest of the map nearly, which is very hard to do. And I think that's probably going to seal it. It's not mathematically over, but it's about as close as you're going to get.
That was such a crazy combo, though, I gotta say. Like, hats off to Ledo Fox for putting up that combo in that section of the map where literally everybody else was just collapsing. That was pretty impressive. Still, though, as you said, Battle of HK, 12 million score lead. Misha Awa holding through this section where nobody else is. Dadunai no combo to speak of as we head into the back half of the map. Possibly the last couple minutes of the entire tournament in front of us here. No combo anywhere. And Dadunai in a sadly hopeless position at this stage, but you got to give them credit for getting this far. And you got to give credit to Battle of HK for doing what they needed to in this match. Put up the huge advantage, and looks like they're going to close it out here on this Nomad 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean, they just performed incredibly well as a team. Obviously, they had some good individual performances, but it felt like they had different players stepping up on various maps when they needed to, and Battle of HK certainly deserving of this victory. Such an incredibly strong team, so many good players, and honestly, such a wide variety of skill sets they can play. On paper, you look at this team and it's like, ah yes, raiding team, but they're out here, they're winning tapping, they're winning precision, they're finding wins on name maps as well. And it's good to see that diversity as we just, the rest of this map is all but a formality. A Battle of HK, 8-4 in the finals. They're going to improve on that this time around, make it 8-3, and close this one out in good fashion.
Yeah, they've improved every match that they've played against each other, right? These two teams have played 3 times now. Group stage, Battle of HK won 5-4 on tiebreaker. Winners finals, Battle of HK won 8-4, and now in the grand finals they're going to win 8-3. So the skill cap and the depth of roster just proving too much for Dadunai to handle, and that is going to do it. It is going to be Battle of HK 8-3 final score. Victors of Hippo Cup 8, Dadunai, though, have to hold their heads high as the second place team in this tournament, losing only to Battle of HK and finishing second from the number 21 seed is a really, really impressive result, especially as a team that largely only had 4 or 5 players for the vast majority of their matches. So to do what they did with that roster, you got to give them a lot of credit. But Battle of HK, the roster construction, just too strong. You've got your winning roster: Woe, Listia, Schiazzo, Ethan Trix, Maxim, Schwartz, Ahio, Sharitori, and Misha Awa, the champions this year in an iteration of Hippo Cup that, for the first time in a few years, didn't feel like it had an overwhelming favorite, right? Last year, it literally was obvious what team was going to win from the moment they signed up. You had 9-player teams in open rank, and the best 9 tournament players in the world all signed up on one team. Guess who won? This year, it was a lot more up for grabs, and I think it kind of played out that way. From Worldwide Choppers, our 3rd-place finishers, these 2 teams, the top 2, you had a lot of teams that felt like they could perform well this year and did end up playing out as a pretty competitive affair. Unfortunately, a little more of a one-sided grand final than we would have liked, but that just speaks to how good this Battle of HK team was on this grand finals pool and how well they performed on this day.
Yeah, it feels like they scaled so well. It's not like they didn't have any competition. They mentioned Dadunai took in a tiebreaker in the group stage at a close match against the Irishmen, 7-5 back in the semifinals, but ultimately they have scaled better than any other team, and the scaling has been really apparent in both the finals and the grand finals as they pulled ahead of their competition. But like you said, Dadunai have a lot to be proud of here. I don't think many people expected them to come this far, but they are arguably the 2nd best team in this tournament. I think, as you said, they only lost the Battle of HK the entire tournament long, so fortunate to them. They ran into them in the group stage as well, or maybe they would have had an easier path here. But regardless, congratulations one more time to Battle of HK. I think that'll do it for Hippo Cup 8.
It will indeed. Shout outs to both these teams. Shout outs to Ladofox, a revelation to me in this tournament. Unbelievable performance time and time again to get Dadunai this far. Crystal, of course, his partner in crime on that roster. But, it's just really, really well done by everybody involved. Okay, well, let me see. I don't know if they want to play tiebreaker or what they're doing. Hang on real quick here. But I will, if nothing else, get my thank yous out here because, of course, this is the end of the line here. So appreciate everyone for sticking around and watching the matches. Thank you all for being here. We hit 100% stream coverage of the bracket stage, which is really, really crazy. So awesome job to everybody streaming and commentating. Obviously, big thank you to all the refs for making the matches possible, all the players for making such enjoyable teams to watch this year, and Habib doing his thing, right? Hippo Cup pools, this tournament is what it is because of the crazy map pools that we get. So we appreciate what he does for the tournament. Okay, I'm going to be frank here. I don't really have anything to cover literally 10 minutes if they're going to play Flash Backlog and the tiebreaker. Yeah. I'm just going to say, if they want to do that, that's fine. I'm going to fade out and, just let that play out on stream uncommentated because, frankly, I don't have enough to talk about for that long. But regardless, big shout outs to everyone involved in this tournament. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to Battle of HK. The victors, and congratulations to all the other teams for achieving their placements in a very exciting and competitive iteration of Hippo Cup, the 8th iteration. Crazy to think we are 8 iterations into this tournament series, but it's been a fun road getting here, and who knows what will come in the future. So we're gonna let these guys, I think, play their Nomad 6 and their tiebreaker. They're gonna hang out and have a good time, but that's gonna do it for me here at the very least. So thank you again, congratulations to Battle of HK, and I hope you guys enjoy a little showcase here, players, game audio only, of a couple maps here at the very, very end.
Yep. And before we close this one out, I do have to add a huge thank you to T1G, incredible host, for hosting Hippo Cup 8. It was a ton of fun. and it was a lot of fun for the players and the commentators, I think. So, always looking forward to the next edition.
Hey, well, we appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next time. Hippo Cup 9, 2026. See you guys in a year.